Hey class, Mr. Moynihan here with a help video to help you prepare for your assessment or to do some retakes. It's a video on writing a paragraph proof to prove an angle relationship given parallel lines. So in this problem, we're given that lines A and B are parallel, and our goal is to prove that angles 8 and 1, that these angles are the same. So these are called alternate exterior angles, and this is a proof of what's called the alternate exterior angle theorem. So we start a proof by stating the given. So we are given parallel lines with, let's say, A and B with transversal C, and we wish to prove that alternate exterior angles like 1 and 8 are congruent. So our goal is to say 1 equals 8. The only assumption we're allowed to make, and it stems from that little video that we saw several times in class, had some nice classical music associated with it, was that corresponding angles of parallel lines are the same. So I'm safe to assume, as long as I say what I'm doing, that 2 is the same as 6, or that 1 is the same as 5, or statements like that. So those things I'm allowed to assume. So since I need to eventually arrive at 8, let me use 8's corresponding angle, which is 3. So my next sentence here might say, we observe that angle, get the angle symbol handy here, copy paste, that angle 8 is congruent to, I don't have the congruent symbol here, but imagine there's a squiggly above that. Angle 8 is congruent to angle 3 because they are corresponding angles of parallel lines. So now we have stated, so let me mark that in the picture here. We've just said that this angle is the same as that angle. We eventually want to say that 8 is the same as 1, but 8 is the same as 3 is a good start. What else do we notice? Well, let's look at angle 3 that we just brought up. What's it the same as? Well, it looks like it's the same as angle 1 because they're vertical angles, so let's take that. We also observe that angle 3 is congruent to angle 1, always give a reason, because they are vertical angles. So we've just made two statements, which is that 8 is equal to 3 and 8 is equal to 1. Sorry, and 3 is equal to 1. So 8 goes to 3, 3 is congruent to 1. Hopefully you know the drill by now, and that's the transitive property, which, just to quickly review, the transitive property states in abstract form that if A implies B, and if B implies C, therefore, there's a cool little symbol for therefore, which is 3 dots, therefore, A is going to imply C. That's the transitive property. So in this application, we have 8 to 3, 3 to 1, therefore, 8 to 1. So by the transitive property, we can state that angle 8 is equal to angle 1, which is exactly what we wanted to prove in the first place. So we're done. QED. Thought I'd type. So there you go. You kind of work backwards, right? You want to get to angle 8, so I look at what angle 8 is the same as, and I saw that 8 was the same as 3 by sort of a safe assumption about corresponding angles. Furthermore, 3 is the same as 1 because they're vertical, and 8 to 3, 3 to 1, therefore 8 to 1 by the transitive property. Let's try another one. Same picture. This time our goal is to prove that angles 4 and 5 are supplementary. Notice it's not saying that 4 and 5 are the same. It simply says that whatever 4 is and whatever 5 is makes a straight line together or 180 degrees. So once again, we start with the given and describe what it is we're going to prove. One thing to note here, angles 4 and 5 are what are called same side interior angles. They're on the same side of the transversal, which is C, and they're on the interior of the two lines A and B. So we are given parallel lines A and B with transversal C, and we wish to prove that same side interior angles like 4 and 5 add up to 180 degrees. Or you could say that angle 4 plus angle equals 180. That's our goal. Now, sort of a good rule of thumb to understand what comes next is to, once again, work backwards. I'm wanting to find 180. Well, what are some other 180s in the picture that I can justify? Well, there's quite a few. I also need to involve angles 4 and 5. They need to be sort of placed at the scene of the crime if I'm going to prove that this is true. So what does angle 4 make 180 with? Well, quite a few things. But critically, angle 4 and angle 1 make 180 together. And the reason I'm bringing up angle 1 and not angle 3 partially is because angle 1 is in the same position as angle 5, and it's going to be a good thing for me to mention in my proof. So I'm going to mention next, so we observe that angle 1 plus angle 4 equals 180. Now that by itself is not enough. I'm not giving a reason for it. So I need to back up and say because they make a line. All right, so we've said that we have 180 right here. Now, we just brought angle 1 into the story. It's not part of the actual conclusion, but it's an important supporting character. What is angle 1's relationship to the story? Well, angle 1 is the same as quite a few angles, isn't it? And the key part to recognize is that angle 1 is the same as angle 5. The reason it's the case is that's our simple assumption that makes all these proofs possible, which is that if you have parallel lines and corresponding angles like 1 and 5, same position in different locations, that those angles are the same. So we can then say we also observe that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5 because they are corresponding angles of parallel lines. Okay, so we have that angle 1 and 4 make 180, and we also have that 1 is the same as 5. So what I can do is to replace angle 1, basically take it off the field and replace it with angle 5. Why am I allowed to do this? Because they are identical, they're congruent. So I can put angle 1 in its place, angle 5 and angle 1 in its place. So how do I sort of describe that? Let me erase some of these annotations. By substitution, angle 5, which is replacing angle 1 right here, plus angle 4 equals 180. And this is what we wanted to prove, wasn't it? Strictly speaking, it's 4 plus 5 equals 180, not 5 plus 4, but as you know, addition is commutative, the order does not matter. So this is effectively what we wanted to prove, and we have proven it. We observed that this was another 180. We observed that corresponding angles are the same, so I replaced angle 1 with angle 5, giving me 4 and 5 being 180. That's what I wanted to prove.